Chosen one, there is a shift happening around you that you can't quite explain. Things that once flowed easily now feel delayed. Doors that used to open without resistance seem to close right before your breakthrough. You've been doing everything right, working, praying, trusting, but something still feels heavy in the atmosphere. That heaviness is not your imagination. There is something around you, an energy, a pattern, a connection that is quietly blocking your blessings. It doesn't always come in the form of an enemy. Sometimes it hides in familiarity, in people, habits, or emotions that feel harmless but carry weight that your spirit can no longer hold. You are not cursed, you are crowded. And when your space is filled with what no longer belongs, blessings cannot breathe. Before we go deeper, take a moment and stay with me until the very end of this message. What you're about to hear may reveal exactly what's been standing in the way of your next season. And while you're here, I invite you to write your warmest wishes in the comments below, ending them with 777. This is not just a symbolic act, it is energy in motion. When you write those words, you are declaring release. You are opening your hands, making space for the universe to deliver what has been waiting. The energy you put out becomes alignment that returns to you multiplied. So write your wishes, breathe deeply, and prepare to see what's been hidden. Now listen carefully. Blockages rarely appear as obvious obstacles. They come disguised as comfort, distraction, or loyalty. Sometimes the thing blocking your blessings is not something dark. It's something familiar. It's the friend you've outgrown but keep close out of guilt. It's the environment that drains you, but you tell yourself it's not that bad. It's the old version of yourself that you still defend because change feels scary. Blessings can't land in cluttered spaces. If your energy is tied to what you've outgrown, the universe reads that as a signal. I'm not ready for the new yet. Something around you is stealing your flow. You can feel it in your body, the restlessness, the irritation, the sudden exhaustion that comes when you're about to make progress. These aren't coincidences, they are signs of interference. You're carrying energies that were never meant to go where you're heading. Some people are not bad, they're just not aligned with where you're going. Some habits are not sinful, they're just too small for your purpose. When something feels off and you can't explain it, it's not always spiritual warfare, it's energetic misalignment. The universe responds to vibration, and your blessings are tuned to a specific frequency. That frequency is peace, clarity, and authenticity. When you surround yourself with confusion, inconsistency, and heaviness, you shift out of sync with your blessings. It's like trying to catch a signal with too much static. You're in the right place but tuned to the wrong station. The messages are there, the opportunities are nearby, but you can't receive them until you clear the interference. Sometimes the blockage is not external, it's internal. You can't receive what you don't feel worthy of. Doubt creates resistance just as much as toxic environments do. Every time you question your worth, you unconsciously reject your blessings. You tell the universe, I'm not ready, even when your heart is desperate for change. Blessings are not withheld as punishment, they wait for permission. And that permission comes when you decide to stop living in spaces that dishonor your growth. You've probably noticed that every time you try to elevate, something or someone pulls you back into old energy. The arguments that come out of nowhere, the people who suddenly need you when you start focusing on yourself, the guilt that creeps in when you try to say no. These are not random distractions, they're resistance. The moment you start rising, everything not meant to go higher starts tugging at you. It's gravity disguised as obligation. But you are not meant to stay low to keep others comfortable. Your blessings have been circling you, waiting for clearance. They are not lost, they are delayed by density. Energy that's too heavy can't move freely, and the universe cannot place new gifts into hands that won't let go of the old. Look around you. Who or what feels like static every time you try to grow? Who drains your peace? What environment silences your intuition? You cannot pray for clarity while holding on to confusion. You cannot invite abundance into spaces built on lack. There is a reason certain things have recently felt uncomfortable. The blessing that's coming requires a higher vibration, and everything around you that isn't aligned with that frequency is being exposed. Don't fight it, observe it. When people fall away, when certain opportunities collapse, when old routines no longer satisfy you, that's not rejection, that's redirection. The blockage is being revealed so the blessing can finally flow. Chosen one, it's not that your blessings are gone, it's that they have nowhere to land. Your environment must match the magnitude of what you're praying for. If you're asking for peace but staying in chaos, you're cancelling your own signal. If you're asking for love but surrounding yourself with people who don't know how to give it, you're confusing your frequency. You cannot manifest elevation in a place built on survival. The new life cannot grow in old soil. You are being called to cleanse not just your surroundings but your spirit. This is not about cutting people off out of anger. It's about releasing what your energy no longer resonates with. It's about reclaiming your atmosphere so your blessings can breathe again. Start by paying attention to how you feel after every conversation, every habit, every space. Does it leave you lighter or heavier, inspired or drained? That is your compass. Your body and your energy always know the truth long before your mind catches up. The power to unblock your blessings is already in your awareness. The moment you start recognizing what doesn't feel right, you've already broken the first layer of resistance. Now it's about action. Clean your space. Protect your energy. Speak boundaries where silence once lived. Detach from guilt, from obligation, from cycles that serve no purpose but to keep you busy. Once you do, you will feel the shift, subtle at first, but undeniable. The air will feel different, the timing smoother, the opportunities clearer, because blessings never left you, they were waiting for room to move. Your next season is not delayed, it's preparing for alignment. You are not being punished, you are being positioned, but that positioning requires you to make hard decisions. You cannot bring everyone and everything with you. Some energies must be released so that higher ones can enter. This is not loss, it's calibration. When you finally clear what's blocking you, you'll realize the universe never said no. It was saying, not until you make space. And when that space opens, when you finally let go, you'll notice how quickly everything begins to unfold. Messages, opportunities, confirmations, they'll all start arriving with perfect timing. You'll wonder why it all took so long, but you'll know deep down it didn't. The blessings were always near. You're just too surrounded to see them. So, step back, look around. Ask yourself what feels off. You already know. The awareness you've been avoiding is the key that unlocks everything. The moment you choose alignment over attachment, clarity over comfort, purpose over pattern, the blockage breaks. And when it breaks, the flood comes. Every blessing that was waiting begins to pour in at once because nothing can stop what's meant for a spirit that's finally free. When your blessings seem delayed, it's not always because you're doing something wrong. It's often because your atmosphere hasn't caught up with your spirit. You've grown internally, but something around you is still vibrating at an old frequency. That's what creates spiritual friction. It feels like confusion, stagnation, or emotional heaviness. But in truth, it's an energetic mismatch between who you've become and what still surrounds you. The energy that once fit you is now too small, and the longer you stay connected to what's outdated, the more resistance you feel. It's not punishment, it's preparation. The universe is asking you to adjust your environment to match your evolution. Every blessing carries its own vibration. Peace vibrates differently than chaos. Clarity vibrates differently than confusion. You cannot embody peace while entertaining people or habits that thrive on chaos. It's like trying to tune into a calm melody while standing next to a roaring engine. You'll never hear it clearly. The blessing isn't gone, it's simply drowned out by noise. That noise might be constant overthinking, draining relationships, or even the fear of change. To receive clearly, you must quiet the interference. Energy blockages form when you allow people or patterns to stay past their purpose. Maybe you've outgrown certain friendships that no longer reflect your truth. Maybe you've been holding on to environments that reward your exhaustion but not your peace. Sometimes the blockage is emotional, old anger, resentment, or guilt that you've normalized. These energies settle like dust in your spiritual space, dulling your intuition and slowing your flow. That's why you feel stuck, even when you're trying your best. The problem isn't your effort, it's your atmosphere. You can feel the difference between an aligned space and a blocked one. When energy flows freely, ideas come easily, timing feels natural, and you move through your days with quiet confidence. But when energy is blocked, everything becomes effortful. Conversations drain you, opportunities fall through, and even small tasks feel heavy. You keep pushing harder, thinking discipline will fix it, but this isn't about effort, it's about energy. You can't outwork a vibration that isn't aligned. You must reset it. Start by becoming a silent observer of your own environment. Watch the energy, not the appearances. Notice who brings calm into the room and who brings chaos. Pay attention to how your body reacts when certain names appear on your phone. That tightening in your chest, that sudden irritation. That's your intuition signaling that something doesn't belong. We're taught to override these feelings with logic, but logic doesn't protect energy. Awareness does. You have to trust what your spirit feels, even when your mind can't yet explain why. Sometimes the blockage comes through emotional attachments that disguise themselves as love or loyalty. You tell yourself, they mean well, or it's not that bad, but every time you interact, you feel smaller. You doubt yourself more. You walk away feeling drained instead of strengthened. That's not connection, that's interference. People who are truly aligned with your path will never make you question your worth to stay close to them. If proximity costs you peace, it's too expensive. Releasing these blockages doesn't always mean cutting people off in anger, it means letting energy flow naturally. Those who are meant for you will rise with you. Those who aren't will drift away. Let it happen, don't resist it. Every person or situation that leaves is creating room for something new that matches your frequency. Blessings cannot coexist with clutter. They need clarity, openness, and trust. But let's be honest, detachment is not easy. The hardest part about releasing energy that no longer serves you is that it used to feel like home. You've built memories in that frequency. You've attached meaning to it. That's why it hurts. But growth always comes with grief. You're not just losing people or habits, you're losing versions of yourself that once needed them. When you feel the ache of letting go, remember that it's not the end, it's expansion. You are being stretched into a version of yourself that can carry more light. And once that release begins, everything shifts, your clarity returns, your body feels lighter, your intuition sharpens. You start noticing divine timing again, how things suddenly align without effort, how solutions appear before problems even settle. That's the sign the blockage has lifted. Blessings don't trickle in, they rush because they were never gone. They were just waiting for you to clear the path. So cleanse intentionally. Remove distractions disguised as duty. Speak words that match the life you're manifesting, not the one you're leaving. Let silence become your filter and peace your boundary. When you stop entertaining misaligned energy, you start attracting divine flow. You'll feel the air shift, the same way a room feels lighter after you open a window. That's what your spirit is craving, space to breathe again. When you create that space, your blessings will no longer circle, they'll land. Because alignment isn't about chasing light, it's about clearing shadows. And sometimes the thing blocking your blessings is not darkness trying to stop you. It's old light you've outgrown. When the cleansing begins, it rarely feels peaceful at first. The moment you decide to release what's been blocking your blessings, the energy around you starts to shift, sometimes violently. You'll notice tension in places that once felt comfortable. People may suddenly act distant or defensive. Old habits might call you back louder than before. That's how you know the block is breaking. The resistance isn't a sign that you're wrong, it's proof that you're right. The energy that kept you stuck doesn't leave quietly. It tests your commitment to freedom. At this stage, the universe begins rearranging your life in ways that might not make sense yet. Situations will fall apart so that alignment can fall into place. Certain conversations will reveal truths you were never meant to ignore. Relationships will change form, sometimes ending without closure. You'll be tempted to chase what's leaving, but don't. Blessings don't require you to run after them. They arrive when space is made. What's breaking is clearing, what's leaving is making room, and yet, in the middle of all this transformation, there's a strange stillness forming within you. You begin to see how energy responds to intention. Every time you choose peace over panic, the atmosphere shifts. Every time you honor your intuition instead of doubting it, new doors quietly begin to unlock. You start realizing that blessings don't come from outside, they flow through you. When your energy is clean, your reality follows. The outer world mirrors your inner vibration. That's when awareness deepens into empowerment. You begin to see how much of your past struggle wasn't random, it was energetic training. Every time your blessings were delayed, you were learning to identify interference. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every disappointment taught you detachment. Every closed door trained your intuition to listen more carefully. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared to handle the abundance that comes with clarity. Because blessings without awareness become burdens. That's why some people receive everything they ever wanted but still feel empty. They never learned how to protect what they prayed for. You're different now. You're being prepared to sustain blessings, not just receive them. The process of release continues quietly. You'll notice you no longer have the same tolerance for certain energies. You'll outgrow small talk, chaotic routines, and emotional games. You won't crave validation the way you used to because peace becomes your proof. You start saying no, not to reject people, but to protect your frequency. And the beautiful thing is, once your energy is clear, life starts responding immediately. Messages reach you at the perfect moment. Opportunities appear with no explanation. People who match your vibration start finding you. That's not coincidence, it's coherence. You've finally tuned back into the frequency of flow. But here's the paradox. Blessings flow fastest when you stop chasing them. The moment you detach from outcomes and focus on maintaining peace, you become magnetic, because blessings are not rewards, they're responses. The universe mirrors your energy, not your words. When your vibration says, "I'm ready," creation listens. That's why cleansing your energy isn't about losing, it's about aligning. You're not removing what's yours, you're removing what was never meant to stay. This new awareness brings a deeper sense of responsibility. You realize how easily external energies can influence internal peace. That's why your spiritual hygiene becomes sacred. You start treating your space like a sanctuary. You're mindful of the conversations you allow, the content you consume, the emotions you entertain. You no longer let every energy enter your atmosphere because not all visitors come to bring light, some come to dim it. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's strategic. It's how you keep your blessings flowing. As your vibration rises, life becomes lighter. You start waking up with gratitude instead of anxiety. You notice synchronicities more often, numbers, signs, timing that feels divine. These are confirmations that the flow has resumed. The things that once seemed out of reach begin aligning effortlessly. The universe doesn't make you chase what's meant for you, then it teaches you to recognize it. The very same blessings that once felt blocked now move freely toward you, drawn by the clarity you've created. This is when the fear begins to fade. You stop asking, what if it doesn't happen, and start affirming, it's already on its way. You begin to live as though the blessing is already yours. Not from arrogance, but from certainty. You trust the process even when it's silent. You rest not because everything is perfect, but because you've learned that peace is not the result of blessings, it's the requirement for them. And when that realization anchors deep within you, everything changes. You move differently. You speak differently. You carry a new energy, light, confident, steady. The blessings that once passed you by now recognize you instantly. You've become the vessel they were always waiting for. After the cleansing, something inside you begins to shift permanently. You feel lighter, not just emotionally, but energetically. The noise that once surrounded your spirit starts to fade. For the first time in a long while, you can hear yourself clearly. The inner dialogue that used to spiral in confusion is now calm, wise, and centered. You no longer chase signs from the outside, you recognize guidance from within. The energy that once blocked your blessings has been replaced by alignment. And in this new frequency, your life begins to move differently. You start noticing divine timing everywhere. Things that used to require immense effort now unfold naturally. People cross your path at just the right moment. Opportunities feel peaceful instead of pressured. You realize that blessings were never something to earn. They were something to allow. The blockage wasn't in the universe's willingness to give. It was in your capacity to receive. When you finally clear the energy that distorted your flow, abundance finds you effortlessly. You've stopped forcing and started flowing. This new phase of awareness brings with it a deep understanding. Blessings are sensitive to vibration. They cannot live in environments of stress, fear, or overthinking. They thrive in peace, gratitude, and openness. That's why your new daily rituals start to look different. You wake up slower, you take time to breathe before speaking. You pay attention to your surroundings and only engage with what feels like peace. You start realizing that every decision you make, what you watch, who you speak to, what thoughts you entertain is shaping your spiritual ecosystem. You no longer allow energy thieves into your space because you know that protection is not isolation, it's preservation. As your frequency rises, your discernment sharpens. You see through intentions like glass. You can tell when someone's words don't match their energy. You can sense manipulation wrapped in kindness and hidden resentment disguised as care. You no longer explain these perceptions away or doubt your instincts. You've learned that intuition is your divine radar. It alerts you to what your eyes can't yet see. You trust it without apology. Because the same intuition that helped you break free from old blockages will now guard you against new ones. But with this heightened awareness comes a challenge: loneliness. The higher your energy vibrates, the smaller your circle becomes. You'll start losing connection with people who still live in the energy you left behind. Their conversations will feel heavy, their habits repetitive, their chaos exhausting. You'll try to meet them where they are, but you'll realize that lowering your vibration to make others comfortable only dims your light. This is where you learn one of the hardest lessons. Love people, but protect your energy first. You can't pour from an empty spirit. Soon, solitude will stop feeling lonely. It will start feeling sacred. You'll begin to understand that isolation is not absence, it's alignment. It's the universe rearranging your surroundings so your blessings can breathe freely again. In that stillness, you start attracting differently. You no longer crave attention or validation. You crave peace, truth, and authenticity. The connections that remain will be genuine. People whose presence doesn't demand performance, only presence. Those are your true tribe, your energetic equals. And then something miraculous happens. The flow returns stronger than ever. The blessings that were once delayed begin to pour in faster than you can comprehend. Not because you chased harder, but because you finally became clear enough to receive. Money flows where gratitude lives. Love finds where peace dwells. Opportunities arrive where energy is stable. You've become a magnet for divine alignment, not through control, but through surrender. You've learned that the key to manifestation is not forcing the door, it's unlocking the energy behind it. The universe now treats you differently because you treat yourself differently. You no longer beg for signs, you walk in faith. You no longer hold on out of fear, you release in trust. You no longer fight for blessings, you align with them. You've stopped asking, when will it happen, and started declaring, it's already unfolding. That shift in energy changes everything, because it tells the universe that you're ready, not just to receive, but to sustain. And here's what most people never realize: blessings multiply in motion. The moment you start moving with gratitude, even small miracles expand. The more you give, the more flows back. The more you trust, the more clarity appears. The more peace you protect, the more abundance feels at home in your life. It's no longer about waiting, it's about walking in alignment with what's already yours. There is no blockage now, only awareness. No delays, only divine timing. You've stepped into a life where energy and intention move as one. You don't chase, you attract. You don't force, you align. You don't fear losing blessings because you finally understand you are the channel through which they flow. And as you breathe in this new season, you realize something simple but profound. It was never that your blessings were blocked, it was that you were surrounded. Now that your energy is clear, you can feel the air moving again. What once felt heavy now feels holy. What once felt delayed now feels destined. You are walking in alignment with everything that was always meant for you. When the energy around you finally clears, life stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like rhythm. Things begin to move in patterns that make sense, not because everything becomes perfect, but because you've learned to flow with divine timing instead of fighting against it. What once drained you now feels distant. What once confused you now feels like wisdom. You no longer measure your life by speed, but by peace. Every delay now feels like protection. Every redirection now feels like grace. You understand that blessings don't always appear as gain. Sometimes they arrive disguised as release. The greatest transformation is happening quietly inside you. You have learned to guard your energy, not out of fear, but out of reverence. You no longer open your heart to chaos and call it compassion. You no longer settle for half light and call it love. You know now that real peace does not demand exhaustion. The people and opportunities that belong in your life meet you in calm, not confusion. They flow effortlessly because they are sent, not forced. And this realization becomes the true unblocking of your blessings, recognizing that peace itself is the blessing. Everything else flows from that. You start to understand that spiritual maturity is not about perfection. It's about clarity. You've stopped apologizing for protecting your energy. You've stopped explaining your silence. You've stopped chasing what doesn't move toward you. What used to trigger you now teaches you. What used to scare you now strengthens you. You've entered a space where your stillness speaks louder than your struggle ever did. And in that stillness, you attract everything that matches your truth. Blessings find you now because you finally stopped hiding from them. You no longer live in vibration of survival. You live in a frequency of trust. Your faith has replaced your fear, and your calm has become your confirmation. You've realized that manifestation isn't about wanting, it's about believing you already have it. That's why everything begins to align effortlessly. You're not asking for signs anymore. You're living as one. Every step you take now feels guided, and every closed door feels sacred. You begin to radiate a different kind of light, the kind that doesn't need validation to glow. People can feel it when they're near you. The peace you carry becomes contagious. You'll notice that others begin to mirror your calm without you saying a word. That's what happens when your energy is pure. It shifts atmospheres. You've gone from reacting to reality to creating it, and that is how the chosen ones move. Quietly, intentionally, divinely aligned. In this final phase, you realize that unblocking your blessings was never about chasing more. It was about becoming less attached. The more you let go, the more room you made. The less you resisted, the faster things flowed. You see now that nothing was ever truly withheld from you. It was just waiting for you to be ready. Ready to protect it, ready to handle it, ready to sustain it. So now you walk forward, not in urgency, but in trust. You understand that peace is your compass and gratitude is your magnet. You no longer question why things didn't work out. You thank them for clearing the path. You no longer pray for blessings. You live like one. You are no longer surrounded by blockage. You are surrounded by flow. The universe recognizes your frequency and answers without delay because your heart and your energy finally speak the same language. And as this realization settles in, you smile. Not because everything is perfect, but because everything finally makes sense. The people who left made space. The doors that closed built direction. The silence taught you discernment. The waiting built faith. Every moment of resistance was a preparation for this exact peace you now live in. The blessing was never just the gift, it was the clarity to see that you were never blocked, only being aligned.